Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 256 of the Ask the Coach show, where PingSkills helps you improve your table tennis. Today, we're going to discuss the balance between training and competition, around the net shots, and how different grips can affect your game. I'm Jeff Plum, and as always, Supercoach Alois Rosario is here with me to answer your questions. Welcome, Alois.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And as you can see, it's a bit cold in Melbourne today.
Yes, certainly is. Just not long ago, you had a beanie on your head, Alois. That's how cold it was.
This one, indeed.
Very good. And speaking about this day, Alois, what happened on the 22nd of April in history?
Well, a couple of big birthdays, Jeffrey. Jack Nicholson, who, as we all know, starred in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and As Good as It Gets and The Shining. There you go.
Just to name a few.
Yeah, just to name a few, exactly. And A Few Good Men, was he in A Few Good Men? I reckon he was.
He was indeed. He's been the Joker in Batman.
The Batman, of course. He's 79 years old. I find that really hard to believe.
But pretty old.
It is pretty old. But it is also another and probably more famous birthday today, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jorgen Persson.
Oh, Jorgen Persson. Well done. That is impressive.
Yeah. So world champion in 1991. So yeah, and one of the all-time greats, and world teams champion for Sweden on a few occasions, and yeah, one of the real good guys of world table tennis too. Everyone loved him.
Everyone did love him. World champion 25 years ago. Wow.
Oh, that's a bit sad, isn't it? 25 years.
Just seems like yesterday.
It does. It does indeed. Yes. Happy birthday, Jorgen. Happy birthday, Jack.
Absolutely. Now, Alois, I had a bit of a sore tooth, and so I phoned up the dentist and I said, I need an appointment. Can I come in at like about 5 o'clock? And
yeah, right.
They said to me, no, sorry, the only time we can do is 2:30.
Oh, Jeff, really?
2:30, dentist?
Yeah, no, just, yeah. Don't explain the bad ones, Jeff.
Friday funnies, everybody loves them. Everybody's at home laughing right now. It's great.
Yeah, or not.
All right, maybe not. I was actually going to get my son to do it, but to come on the show and tell the joke, but he's too busy watching the football. Hawthorn versus Adelaide, really close match on right now. Yeah,
and in the A-League, Adelaide's going 3-1 up, I think, against Melbourne City. There you go. There's the sports report, the Australian sports report.
Indeed. All right, now, yesterday's PingSkills question of the day, Alois, was can Liu Shiwen and Ding Ning recover from their loss in the first qualification process and come back and win the gold medal?
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, had a few responses, not many, but Robert Symes said yes, definitely. He gave us a definitely as well. And Eugene said, I guess she lost because she underestimated Du Hoi Kin, and who is actually a really strong player. And Juan Carlos Castillo Gracia, when and where is the second qualification? It's not finished yet. Well, yeah, she can still qualify through world rankings, so being one of the top ranked in the world, she still will probably make it into the field. But I think now it'll depend on who is higher between Liu Shiwen and Ding Ning.
Interesting.
Because both of them missed out. So it does make things really interesting, doesn't it?
Yes, indeed. So it'll be good when all this is sorted and we just know the list and we can say this is the people that are qualified. And then we can start making predictions about who's going to win the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, but you probably go, China, don't you? And
yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah, and at the moment, so Liu Shiwen is 1, Ding Ning is number 2, and there is 62 points difference on the world rankings. So on that, Liu Shiwen would get in, and on that, Ding Ning misses out on playing in the Olympic singles event. What about that?
Well, let's see what happens. Very controversial, isn't it? That the number 2 player in the world could potentially miss out.
Yeah, current world champion.
Indeed. Well, today's PingSkills question of the day, Alois, is about Ma Long. We want to know, he's the overwhelming favourite. Is he going to win, or can a dark horse come up and win the Olympics? Love to hear your thoughts. Jump onto our Facebook page or onto the PingSkills blog and let us know who can take Ma Long down.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because he's certainly had some pretty good form recently.
Yeah, he's just been almost unbeatable. And then, you know, the Olympic qualification in the women just saw a couple of surprises, but not for Ma Long. Just powering ahead, super confident, and, you know, just running into the form of his life that's just extending over a long period of time.
Yeah. And, you know, and he's only going to have to cope with one other Chinese player in the field. And, you know, we still don't know who that is. At the moment, Fan Zhendong is number 2 in the world. Zhu Xin number 3, Zhang Jike number 4. Looks like Zhang Jike is gone.
At number 4 in the world, gone.
Exactly. Gone.
Indeed. All right, well, you know, let's get into some questions now, Alois. Let's leave those Olympic scenarios behind us. And, yeah, as I said, jump into the questions. And first up is a really interesting question from Ezzy. He says, I'm able to play about 2 to 3 sessions, 2 hours per session, per week. So in your opinion, what is the right balance between training and competition? Should I be doing 70% training, 30% competition, 50-50? What are your thoughts, Alois?
Yeah, so Essie, it really depends a lot on your the stage of the year, so your preparation phase and where you're at, and also your stage of development. So initially, when you first start playing table tennis, most of it needs to be around your training and drills and just trying to get those basics right. And then you can start to play some more competition. But let's think about your year as a whole as well. So if you've got your year and you're trying to work towards playing in a big tournament, say in January next year. So you need to start to think about structuring your year as to how much training and how much competition you do in that period. As you get closer to your competition, so closer to January, then you need to be starting to play some more matches and more competition time. But now you could have a greater balance or greater percentage of just training time. So the further away from the competition you are, the more training time you do. The closer you are to your big tournament, the more competition you do. So that's the real crux of it. So, you know, in general, I mean, you probably need to train, you know, 70%, 30% as you suggested, 70% training, 30% competition. But certainly as you start to get closer to your big tournament, then you need to be doing, you know, maybe 50% or more of matches and competitions and, you know, your local weekly competition, your weekly pennant fixtures, you know, league, whatever it is.
Yeah, interesting. So even close to the tournament, you still want to be doing a large amount of training, like 50% is still quite a large bit. You wouldn't sort of go 90% competition and only 10% training?
You could. I mean, it depends on the player as well and their stage of development. So, you know, for example, one of the top players, you know, that or an older player, you know, past their peak, perhaps, you know, on the down, they don't need to do that much of a bulk of training. So Krianga, for example. So Krianga or Samsonov, before a tournament, or before the Olympic qualification, they'd be playing more games. They don't need to do a bulk of forehands and backhands. They've done all that. It's more about fine-tuning the gameplay.
So is that because they've kind of practiced so much, they're kind of as good as they're going to get, and they probably find the practice a little bit boring because they've done so much of it, whereas a younger player might be, still have a lot of room to improve?
Yeah, it's not even a matter of it's not even a matter of boredom. I think it's just the younger player still has to put in that bulk of work to improve skill levels of technique and strokes and all that sort of stuff. Whereas Samsonov's technique isn't going to change much now. It's more about just fine tuning and making sure that he's sharp, he's serving well, he's returning well, those sorts of things.
Interesting, yeah. Well, Ezzy, great question. Hopefully Alois has given you some insights so that you can tailor that for your own training and competition. Great question. All right, next up is a question from Mod, who says, are you allowed to return the ball around the net but under the net level?
Are you ever? You certainly are. And it's just one of the really spectacular parts of table tennis. So if someone plays the ball out really wide, you are allowed to go out wide. You don't have to go over the top of the net. You can go around the net. You can curve it. And sometimes if the ball drops short, like it just drops and dribbles near the net and then bounces off the side, you can even go under that bit on the end of the net that hangs over the table. So you can go under that too. So it is a pretty exciting part of the game. And I saw a beauty last week in Perth. Rung, the current gold medalist in the Class 6 event, hit an absolute ripper. It was just a pure roll. Just the ball came out wide. He moved down. He just went bang, and it just skidded across the table. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the great thing about the around the net shot. Because you don't have to go over the net, the ball can go just at the same height as the table, hit the table, and as you said, roll along the table. It's unreturnable, Alois.
Yeah. That's this one. This one was. It just went zoom. Just gave the table a nice little snick on the way through. Unreturnable. So great. Yeah. And there's a video of a Chinese league match with, is it Zhu Xin and someone, and they play like some ridiculous number of round the nets in one rally. It's just a huge rally. I have to find that and put it up as a link for you.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I saw recently just on YouTube, someone put together a whole video, a few minutes of just around the net shot. So if I can find that, I'll put it in the show notes as well, so you can start watching spectacular around the net shots. All right, good question again, Maud. And the next one, Alois, is from Shrikant, who says, my backhand topspin is not right. I'm playing with my back closed. My coach says it's because of my grip. So what should I do? Continue with this action, or should I change my action?
Okay, so it's probably not the action. It's probably, as your coach said, it's probably your grip. So this is your normal grip, right? So it's straight in your hand. Often what players do is they will turn their grip around like that in their hand for their backhand, which does tend to help for the backhand, but it also just really flattens out the angle of your racket. So to start off with, get your grip pretty central. Your stroke might actually be perfectly fine, but once you change your grip, then the stroke might flow a little bit better. So it might just be you turned your bat way too much over and the bat's coming through like that, and so you really haven't got much of the bat to see, or the ball can't see much of the bat as it's coming through. So just open it up a little bit, get that grip more central in your hand, and give that backhand a whirl.
Sounds so easy when you say it like that. Now, we get quite a lot of questions about the grip, Alois, and some people might put two fingers on the bat or, turn it in their hand. How important is it when you're learning table tennis to get the right grip from the start?
Yeah, especially early on, really important. Getting that bat central in your hand is really important. I see so many players, you know, turning it one way or even the other. I don't mind this way too much, but players that turn their bat all the way around into their backhand make it really difficult to do anything with their forehand. So, yeah, so really focus on that. Make sure you're centralizing it. The other thing is that we talk about the grip is just making sure that you're getting that really nice and light in your hand. Again, I see players really strangling the bat, like, you know, the bat's light, the ball's really light. You don't need a lot of power in your fingers to make this stroke work. So really relax them off there. Still keep contact with the racket, but you definitely don't need too much pressure here, especially in your little finger and in your ring finger. Keep them nice and relaxed, and then you'll find the rest of the hand will be relaxed as well. But keep that grip nice and central when you're playing. Really important to start off with.
Yeah, all right, great tips there. So Srikanth, hopefully that helps you out. I'll put a link also in the show notes to our video on how to hold a table tennis bat. Make sure to check that out. Just get the grip right, and then everything else should fall into place. Or maybe it's not that easy, but at least you've got the right grip to be able to develop your strokes.
Yeah, so, I mean, once you've got your grip, then, I mean, check our backhand topspin video. Make sure you've got the start and finish positions right. You know, if you're doing that correctly, it's hard to go wrong. So grip right, start position right, finish position right, bang, ball's on the table every time.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. Now, before we wrap up the show, Alois, it's going to be a big weekend of table tennis, hopefully for everyone, but we're making some changes to the PingSkills shed on the weekend.
We are. The rubberized flooring is going down in the shed. So next time you see it, it'll be interesting. It'll be new flooring. We won't know ourselves in there, Jeff.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be, I think it's going to look great on the videos, and, you know, it's going to be obviously really good for playing on.
Yeah, I love the Taraflex or Tinsui flooring. It just gives you a nice grip. You don't slide around. You're there. You can just focus on making your shots. So, yes, hopefully by Sunday night, that'll all be done. It'll all be down. So, yeah, one of our friends, Trevor McDowell, is coming over to give us a hand. He's a ping skiller and coach from down Warrnambool way. So, yeah, so that'll be interesting to see. By the way, he'll be doing all the brains, most and I'll just be helping.
Brilliant. So a big thank you to Trevor. All right, so that does wrap up our show. Make sure you check out pingskills.com, sign up for our free newsletter to get lots of tips each week. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a great weekend of table tennis. And, of course, thank you, Alois.
Yep, thank you, Jeffrey, and we'll catch you soon. Bye now.